Participating in Pilates through remote classes is nowhere near the same experience as it is through either one-to-one or small group works, or even in a large class environment in our studios with instructors. So I thought I'd take the opportunity just to give a little bit of some insights into some of the things that we as instructors ask of our participants, and answer some of the questions that I've had participants have asked me over the years, because it's quite possible that those same sorts of things are going through our heads, or we wish we had the chance to ask them. But being remote, working through the classes that I teach, for instance, through Zoom, it's really quite difficult to have that interaction. And sometimes it can be a little bit unnerving if we're still bumbling along, not really knowing quite what it is that either is being asked of us, or indeed what it is that our instructors need to know. So what I'd start off with is a little bit of an explanation for those of you that perhaps have never done Pilates before, of what it is that we're actually going to do. So you'll see from sitting here, I have two mats. I have one mat in this long direction and one mat in the sideways direction. Normally you wouldn't need two mats, and I certainly wouldn't suggest that you need to have two mats at home. It's simply here so that I can move through the class as I teach it without having to twirl my mats around, which I would do if I was ordinarily teaching. I'd wander around the class and position my mats wherever it was suitable, depending on what was happening. But because we can't do that in this format, I've laid them out in this way so that I know where I can be, and hopefully you'll be able to see me quite clearly. So what we have is, I happen to have a couple of mats that are yoga mats. In fact, the purple one's a yoga mat, the grey one I think is more of an ordinary exercise mat. It's entirely personal preference as to what you have, and you don't need a mat at all. If you've got the floor's not cold or it's not uncomfortable, you don't need a mat at all. You can use towels, whatever works for you, it's absolutely fine. But it's just nice to have somewhere that gives you sort of a grounded position to start from. It's also helpful to have something that's not slippery. And that brings me to footwear. So bring my feet round for you to see. I wear studio shoes. There's a number of instructors who wear studio shoes. I like these because they keep me warm, they keep my feet relatively clean from studio floors that are not necessarily clean, and they've got a non-stick surface on the bottom. Again, these are completely optional. People choose to use those. I have clients who use those, clients who don't. So what you put on your feet is entirely up to you, but really the most important thing is that they don't get cold. So if you prefer to wear socks, then please wear socks. Bare feet is absolutely fine. I do like the tactileness of bare feet. In fact, if I'm teaching out on the grass, I absolutely don't wear these at all. It's nice to have that barefoot feeling. But really, it's just to emphasise that we don't wear footwear. The reason we don't have any footwear is to make sure that we understand how our bodies are working, and if we have an extra weight of the shoes on the end of our feet, that makes it really quite difficult to do so. So that's where we've got the mats, and we have the no shoes. And in terms of clothes, then clothes are comfortable, loose fitting. If you're at home, it's absolutely fine. I don't tend to wear clothes as loose fitting as I would perhaps be more comfortable wearing, because it's important that you as clients can see body positions, and if we've got really loose clothes all over the place, sometimes it's difficult to see what positions that the bodies are in. But for you as participants in the class, as long as you're comfortable, your pajamas are absolutely fine, as long as you can move in them. And of course, the beauty of being in remote working, particularly if you've got your camera on, nobody can see what you're wearing. So it's as long as you're comfortable and fully supported, is absolutely fine. Ladies, a piece of advice that I would give is that you don't have a back fastening bra. We do spend quite a lot of time lying on the floor, so no back fastening bras. It just makes it a little bit less comfortable. So that's really is all there is to it about clothes to wear and the setup, as long as you've got room either side so that you can have your arms out either as you're lying down or as you're standing, so room either way. And I appreciate that sometimes in our homes that's not possible, so we might need to arch and move around. The other thing is that you can also lie full length or stand full length. So we do spend sometimes standing with our arms right up in the air, and lying down is a lovely all over body stretch. Again, not always practical in our own homes. We don't always have that much space, but if you do have that space, then that's absolutely ideal. So that's the clothes that we wear, and that's the way that we set the mats out and give ourselves some space to work. Okay, in the next little clip I'll talk about some of the kit which you can see that I've got here that I'll draw on those.